Have you ever done any restoration projects before? Perhaps you've helped restore an old car or upcycled a piece of furniture before. But how about a cruise ship? Most of us can't even imagine the task of embarking on a restoration project that is as grand as restoring an entire ship. Today's episode is part 2 of season 4 of Living at Sea. We are learning from Chris Willson as he takes us around his vessel for a tour and explains the numerous ongoing projects that are required to make Aurora new again. If you need to catch up on part 1, where we learned how Chris acquired the ship and more, go ahead and click on the eye in the sky or the link in the description box to get caught up. So let's hear it from Chris himself as he shares his vision and difficulties along with the immense pride that comes along with restoring Aurora. So with such a hefty restoration project, with anything that is got a little bit of age on it, I'm sure you've walked into one thing and you, like an onion, peel back and you realize, whoa, there's a lot of different layers to this and things that need fixing. Oh. More times than you can count where you're into a project and you realize, oh, I have to fix this before I can fix what I initially started.
Mm-hmm. A good example of that is the last hallway that we just did. I started peeling back on that and found out that, I needed to rebuild the door jambs before I could move forward, and that was a huge project because I had to cut away the metal door jambs on the fire doors and refabricate the metal, pound it into shape, and it was pretty thick metal too. So so it took a while to get those pieces perfect. But okay, so I finished the door jambs, and then the next thing, the walls are kind of warped over time from the decks, having some leaks in them. As the rainwater would come onto this deck, and it would go right into the gutters, and then there was no metal here. Somebody had cut these pieces of metal out, and it would just go onto this deck down here, and over time it just would find its way into the ship and eat holes into it. So I just got done welding. I still got the welder set up, but welding this whole new gutter in, and you can see I'm replating pretty much the whole deck. So that's getting completely redone. Anyway, the decks have been fixed for quite a while, so it doesn't leak in that hallway anymore. But the walls were still kind of warped, and if you're going to redo the hallway. So we tore out all the old walls and we put in new marine 3/4 inch ply, and that was a big job in itself. And then we're looking at it going, okay, well that might do it. Now I think we can start priming everything up and getting it ready to put on the paper and the wainscoting, and then it just then one of the doors is off because it sagged over time. And so we needed to fix the door. So yeah, everything is a can of worms, but you just have to be either ready to completely rebuild it, or be ready to at least fix it to where it's not going to give you any problems anymore. So we're going to take these mirrors. I'll kind of show you what the next plan for this hallway is. And like this one will go here, right, in the end result. And then we're going to have the longer mirrors. The longer mirrors will go down the hallway, and then on this side we'll have old photographs of this ship and photographs of the ship under restoration, and it will all go on this side of the hallway. Plus, probably some of those discs that we got from Peter Canego will go along the hallway as well. But I think it's going to look pretty good when it's done.
What you've mentioned previously is that you're looking to head into each project and do it right.
Yes.
And really give it all your worth and all you have, and making sure that it's done properly. So, I'm sure that takes additional time too, with when you run into bumps in the road. So.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, every project, I won't do it the wrong way. We won't buy cheap materials, just to make something look better. If it's not the right materials, like, in the rooms, we want to redo a lot of those walls in teak. And that's pretty expensive by the teak, but it's the right way to do a lot of these rooms. And if it's not the teak, then we're going to use Italian woven silk wallpaper, which we have a whole bunch of that stuff, and it looks like $1 million when it's in there. In San Francisco, I started to redo this one, and I was putting the nice wallpaper on and getting everything, you know, dialed in. I redid the concrete on the floor, and then next thing you know, we had somebody that was going to volunteer, a contractor, and he, you know, gosh, this room was one of the only ones that looked like it could be livable, so we let him stay in here. And he mucked up the wallpaper and messed up a few things, so I just kind of gave up on it from that point. And, you know, one of these days I'll start on it all over again. But you can see this one has, this one will have like a crew bed, not this California king mattress. And it'll have, you know, it'll have a working bunk bed as well. And it has a, you know, full bathroom and shower that's got a bunch of luggage in it right now, and full large closets. And it's actually, I mean, you know, it's livable, but it would be a small residency. I think we're coming out with some ideas for some of these rooms, and this is, you know, I haven't really told anybody this yet, but I'll tell you. This is, so on this vessel, what I think we're going to do is we're going to basically adopt out rooms. It won't mean somebody's purchasing the room, but somebody can contribute to help bring a cabin back to life. Oh. So by that being said, we'll film the whole process. We'll give them say in the artwork that goes in there, and some of the color schemes. We'll give them some color schemes to choose through.
I'm getting so excited. This is amazing.
And then at the end, we're going to put a brass plaque on there and give them the stamp in history, and even invite them out to come see what we've come up with.
That's so cool.
But we're gonna, you know, we're going to blow that up and make that a big thing. So if you're interested in adopting a cabin when we get ready to do that,
wow,
it's going to be amazing.
That's going to be really, really exciting. Now it's time for another creator question. This is a question from the one and only Cruise Tips TV. Sherry, take it away.
Hey Chris, I'm Sherry with cruisetipstv.com. I am sure that this pandemic has brought some huge challenges during this period that you are restoring the Aurora, and I would love to know what some of those greatest challenges in 2020 have been for you.
Well, I think that's a big thing. You know, a lot of people during the pandemic have kind of suffered, you know, financially, and luckily we have not. But it has been a little more difficult to come up with materials. Mm-hmm. But in the last couple of months, we met some people that actually wind up with all of the one of the big hardware store chains. They wind up with a bunch of their materials, and then they wind up selling them out at like a flea market or whatever. Oh. But they get giant truckloads of stuff. So they've been good enough to give us really good deals on, you know, like we'll buy 50 gallons of like Rust-Oleum paint for a few bucks a gallon, you know, or we'll buy pretty much anything that the hardware store would sell. Uh-huh. These guys will have. Wow. So we've been, you know, acquiring excess quantities of this stuff in order to do larger projects in the future.
And thinking before you need it too, of what, you know, yes. I'll save this and throw it in the back room until you need whatever, and then you'll have all the supplies on hand, huh?
Yes, and we've managed to gather, you know, quite a lot of brand new materials and,
that's excellent.
And paints and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm happy about that, because that's one of the most difficult things to get quantity of is, you know, a single color of paint. You only live once, right? I mean, I think it's, I think this is something that's so unique. You know, if I ever got rid of this ship, what would I do with my time? You know, okay, someone come along and said, hey, we'll give you this much money for it. And then what, you go buy a house, and then what, you know, then what? So this, I mean, for someone who likes to restore things and remodel things, endless projects. This, over the next year, I think our goal is to get all the common areas done first. The rooms, there's very few of them that I could say need nothing. I would say none of them need nothing. I think all of them pretty much need to be restored, but some of them are in different levels of roughness. I guess that's a good way to put it. We're going to work on this room's next, and then the hallway. Behind it, I'll I have the mirrors over here that I took out the other day. So when this comes out, I'll redo all the mirrors, and I'll do the right LED lighting, and the turtles will go back in here. Mm-hmm. And I'll, pretty much everything in here will be redone, and I'll probably put on like some nice carpets, carpet onto the stairs. So the coolest thing about these stairs is if you look at them, it's like this in the front, and then you get up to the top and it's the exact opposite. So they slowly turn into the opposite. Okay, so the bridge, one of the things I enjoy the most is people looking at an area in this stage, right? Because right now it looks like, oh my God, this is like worst case scenario for this bridge, right? This is as bad as it's going to get. But a lot of the things still function. The chains down here still actually turn. I mean, everything still functions, even though it's ugly. But I don't know. With about 6 months of hard work, this bridge could look like it did when it was a brand new ship. And I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. I could do this solo and by myself in 6 months. But we have a whole trove of volunteers that are dying to get up here and actually redo this bridge, and we're looking to give them the opportunity pretty soon. I mean, stuff still works. The radar, and this whole thing takes like 10 minutes to warm up and actually start turning the radar up top, but it still works. We used it when this boat was under tow from San Francisco. But is it original? No, this thing was installed in the 80s, and really it kind of doesn't belong, so it probably won't stay here. But stay tuned, and we'll check back and see what this room looks like in a year. You won't recognize it.
So Chris, thank you so much for sharing such incredible knowledge with us here. It really is fascinating to walk the corridors and get the whole view of everything and the story that the ship has, and your story as well, and how you're carrying it through. So where can we find you on social media and Aurora, and follow along and continue to learn more as the project continues?
Well, if you go to Aurora Restoration Project on Facebook, we have a rather large group of fans also. Some of you might actually be members already, so that's interesting. So recently I made an Instagram account. Don't have a lot on there yet, but we expect to have quite a bit more as things progress. And then I think I may take you up on your offer to help me do start a YouTube channel.
Wonderful.
And then we'll have a lot of material.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, showing us around and showing us your world here. It's like truly, truly incredible. And if you guys have any questions as well, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and we'll follow up and answer the rest of them with this beautiful ship here. So thank you again. And friends at home, if you enjoyed the video, please do remember to give it a big thumbs up. Until next time, ciao for now.